got the music. Slight delay, but I got it. As long as I get the music, everything's all right. Vigilante Williamson here on the 68th episode of my show, the Vigilante Williamson Show. Fucked up a little intro. Got a good show for you guys today. It is October 21st, Thursday, October 21st, and I hope you're having a good Thursday. Doing pretty good myself. Woke up a little late. Up late working hard, hardly working. Combination of both. Hope you guys are good. I'm sorry I kept you. A lot of people. Well, I don't know about a lot of comments. I don't know how many people. Because YouTube has been not too kind to me on this experiment of going daily, trying to pump out clips. I'm pumping out more material than I've ever done before. And I literally have less viewership than I've had probably in a year. Speaking of a year-old version of me, we will see year-old version of me. We'll see me from October of last year because we have to talk about Ruby Rose. And I want to tell you what I said last year. In fact, I'll actually I'm gonna start off with that. Then I'll get into you guys' comments. You know what? I always like what you guys have to say. Let's get your comments. Then we'll see a younger, more innocent version of me talk about Ruby Rose a year ago. So, Code Era, appreciate you being here, man. Always appreciate you being here. Just another red shirt. He's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt. And I'm not making a genre called V dubstep, even though I didn't think of that. I'm not a dubstep guy. I'm trying to incorporate guitars and hip hop and synths and shit. I don't know. It may all suck. But my back's been hurting. I haven't been able to make beats. Gotta get up and stand up. Got keyboards and shit. Zax. Appreciate Zax. Another masked man. Sapphire Sunflower instead of Ruby Rose. Cold Era. That's pretty snazzy. That's me saying, hey, sorry for the delay. I'm sorry for the delay. Skunk Cabbage. That's a new one. Hey, Vig. Hey, Zax. This live stream is a triumph. I'll try. Sup, Colonizer says Sentient Dildo. Sup, Sentient Dildo. Buzz. To all the colonizers. Hail, Dad Man Walking. Appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate everyone who's watched any of the material. You are the few that have gotten notifications and or who have cared. Maybe everyone's gotten notifications. It's like, I'm tired of them. Maybe I've become what I've once hated as far as all the notifications, all the videos, all the live streams. So I apologize if I'm bombarding anyone's inbox or anyone's feed, but I'm just trying to grow. And I got so much to talk about in this crazy ass world, and we're still doing the Zircon Lily. I feel for Ruby Rose, man. Not only do I feel for Ruby Rose, past me does too. Let's go to the past. I was young and innocent. Still appeared on camera. I was talking about Jafika Leslie because she's thicker than a Snicker. This is before Batwoman was even premiered. And you can't hear anything because it's muted.
Sure, as you possibly can. And as much leverage.
What was I talking about? Oh, I was telling her, I was trying to tell Jafika Leslie why she should if she ever heard this video, which of course she didn't, why she should not take the role or do as much as she can to control the role. Yeah, I was at 664 or 665. I was almost at that evil number, but the Most High said no. So I lost subs to make sure I didn't hit that number. So that's where we are. No, I've lost a sub every day this past week. I am putting out more content than I've ever done before, and I am losing subs every single day and getting next to no views. Don't you love this algorithm? In any event, this is me talking about what happened to Ruby Rose a year ago.
Wrong and almost was paralyzed. Listen to what happened. This is, of course, during the production of the first season of Batwoman. Ruby Rose revealed that she needed emergency surgery after a serious stunt injury left her facing the possibility of paralysis. The Batwoman actress shared details in a video posted last late Thursday on
I don't
Instagram.
think anyone wants a
This
hot
was in
tub strain.
September of 2019. To everyone asking about my
But look at
past
this.
dispenser scar on my neck, a couple of months ago I was told I would need emergency surgery or I was risking becoming paralyzed.
Look at
Rose
this.
captioned the post, I
Almost
have
became
herniated
paralyzed.
disc doing stunts and they were close to severing my spinal cord. I was in chronic pain and yet couldn't feel my arms.
Jesus.
That's what the producers and the stunt coordinators did to Ruby Rose. They do not care about you, Miss Leslie. I'm sorry. So you have to make sure they don't get you into any crazy ass stunts. It's great.
So basically, I was trying to point out the fact that they don't care about the actual individual. They're doing all this wokeness. They're doing all this whatever, because I think diversity hiring is part of what happened with the Ruby Rose situation. You just saw that she had injuries filming the first season, and she's gone on to talk a lot more about a lot of stuff that's gone on with her filming Batwoman on season 1. We talked a little bit about this yesterday on the Culture Crime Fires, also on this channel. Please check it out if you haven't already, with me and Matt from Fireball Productions. But I wanted to dig a little bit more into this because at the moment it was kind of just breaking. We read some of her Instagram. This is really messed up, and one of the main reasons I'm covering this story is this is one of those stories that, even if you think Batwoman is a joke, because it is, and you don't care about the show, it's what happened that I think has a trickle down effect, at least according to my own. This is my theory. I'm just a fat asshole on the internet, right? But I think diversity hiring had an issue, and in a lot of this, because she's describing a set that cannot protect the people on it. Not just her, but multiple individuals that are getting injured. And my assumption, because man, I should have brought up Why the Last Man, because that's a show that got canceled, ironically. But that showrunner was talking about all the diversity and all the different spots and how beautiful it was. I think there's a lot of diversity hiring, and that's what happens if you have people who aren't. They may not have had a role, but when you have a set where there are constantly injuries for different people, something's amiss. There are some people on that set that are not good enough at their job when it comes to keeping people safe. And I am not a Hollywood director. I'm not a Hollywood guy. I don't know every role of every position on the set. But what happened to her and some of these people on the set was just unacceptable. Unacceptable. And if it was diversity hire, I could be wrong. Be totally wrong. I'm not just saying that just as a, conservative show. Oh, it's the diversity. No. I'm just saying there's a level of unprofessionalism, and my guesstimate being how the only point for this show to exist is agenda, is that agenda got a lot of people hurt because you didn't have people in positions that could do the job as far as the stunt coordination. And that's my assumption because of the injuries. And I don't think, even if that person wasn't a diversity hire, they could be a straight white male. They suck at their job and they deserve to be fired. And I hope to God they're not still the people involved with the sets for Miss Thicker Than a Sneaker, Javika Leslie. Oh man, I got the Pope showed up. Pope showed up. Pope Chewbacca Cabras, the fourth Chewbacca Cabras. Show the rough girl. Just listening and driving. So now I'm the radio host. Cool. And I guess we were talking about Ruby Rose, too butch with short hair, legs a literal twig. Squid Game proves all this diversity is bullshit. I still haven't seen Squid Game, but yeah, it's a very popular show. Pretty much, is it mostly Korean cast, if I'm correct? Mostly or all Korean cast. Forbidden Ruin. No less than 4 people were injured on the set. This is for one season of television. 4 people injured on the set, including Rose. That's abnormal. And I only knew about 2. I only knew about Ruby Rose and the unfortunate stagehand that is, according to her Instagram, is a quadriplegic. Oh, we'll get into that. We'll break that down. And then somebody else got their face burnt off. So that's 3. I didn't know there's a 4th injury. They might cover some stuff up. Forbidden Ruin. Thanks for letting me know that. I think 2 of them were Batwoman stunt doubles plus roles. I don't care the other words. So I know there might be more than that 4 then, because the other 2 was a stagehand or a PA, and then it was a male, so it couldn't have been a stunt double. And if it was a PA, that means it's potentially 5. This is crazy. This is a set of 1 season of television. She was only Kate Kane for 1 season. And Forbidden Ruin saying, hey to Justin Rancher, 99% Korean. I see. And Forbidden Ruin doesn't like Squid Game. Too close to socialist Hunger Games for money and fame. Squid Game equals eyes wide shut. Well, I need to check it out then. If it's that eye-opening, so to speak. But yeah, let's see if I can find the exact. There's a lot of exposition. I love bonding. I really want to get the stories. She tweets. She tags a few people. She says, enough is enough. I'm going to tell the whole world what happened on that set. I will come for you. So what happened to me never happens to another person again. And so I can finally take back my life. And the truth, shame on you. Peter Roth, you are first up. You are chapter 1. Not sure if you left after getting promoted to the highest position because you just couldn't stop making women steam your pants around your crotch while you were still wearing said pants. What? Or if you left after pulling a private investigator on me, who you fired as seen in the report, as the report didn't fit your narrative. Either way, when it comes to you, there's already an army waiting for you. What the fuck? So I didn't see this shit. I was just talking about the injuries and shit. So it's a creepy producer. Isn't that crazy? They put all this wokeness in these guys. I don't know if that's like an expression or is that literal. Women steaming the pants around your crotch while you're still wearing them. I'm not sure if he's into some weird shit or if that's some figure of speech. But there you go. This producer 1, please have the whole thing. I don't want to. Oh, this is. I remember seeing this. This is a. She showed parts of this, parts of her injuries and parts of like scans a while ago. So this the video. Is it gonna play the video? I guess it's not. So cut to 3 weeks later after this video. It's worse than abnormal. It was diagnosed years ago on set. I got an X-ray. We would make our day. Okay, I'm not sure. We would and make our day. I've documented this for years. On top of that, I have enough documentation to make a 1-hour documentary. That would be interesting if she actually did that. Pray tell, what else would you like me to share? The broken neck or the split in two? The broken neck or the rib split in two or the tumor. Holy shit. To everyone say I was too stiff on Batwoman. Imagine going back to work 10 days. 10 days. Jesus Christ. After this. The whole crew and cast would be fired. I let everyone down. Peter Roth said he would recast, and I just lost the studio millions by getting injured on his set. That is wow. That is be the one who cost so many people their jobs instead of spending a half a day to rewrite me out for a few weeks to heal. Jesus. So basically, when she got injured, this producer was putting the pressure on her to return. 10 days is insane. I remember Stone Cold came back. Like, he didn't wrestle after a broken neck quickly, but he started doing stunners and appearing. He shouldn't have done that. Like, if he would have broke his neck in the current era, like he did in the 90s, he probably wouldn't have wrestled again. But back then, they just didn't give a fuck. So he came back, even though he didn't do matches for a few months. It was only 4 months of him not doing matches. That's the only super quick. And it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, he was back giving people stunners. And then you can only imagine what his neck felt like doing that. With the shockwave going up. You guys know what a Stone Cold stunner looks like. He falls on his ass, shockwave definitely go up his neck. And that's the only other situation I can think of as extreme. Let's see more of this. Okay. And then this is This is what she's saying. Now, imagine taking a huge pay cut to play a passion product, being so excited about Comic-Con. They told me, then being told they would not adjust to the schedule so I could attend, but then saying we won't announce it. You have to, and me putting my foot down, saying, "Why must I be the face on this?" Only to be told if I didn't do this video, they would be silent, and people would turn up to find out that on the day I wasn't there. I folded. She did a video letting people know she wouldn't be at Comic-Con because, well, I mean, if it's Comic-Con, they can't do anything about it, I guess. Then I wanted to do what it was took, but then being told, cover your scar. We don't want to see that scar on video. And you wonder why I post my surgery video. And I can't see what she's saying. So and then this is please, to my dear fans, stop asking if I will return to that awful show. I wouldn't return for any amount of money of the world, nor if there were a gun to my head, nor did I quit. I do not quit. They ruined Kate Kane. They destroyed Batwoman. Well, I think it was already destroyed before it got there. Not me. I follow orders, and if I wanted to stay, I was going to have to sign my rights away. Any threats or any bullying tactics or blackmail will not make me stand down. This is where we get into some of the other injuries. And again, there's untold, because if we're doing the math, Forbidden Ruin said 2 of the people were stunt double. Forbidden Ruin, and just in the chat, said there were about 4 people injured, and 2 of the people were her stunt doubles. There have to be more if that's the case. If 2 stunt doubles got hurt by her, there'll be those 2 stunt doubles plus her and plus these 2 crew members that I'm about to talk about now. A crew member got 3rd-degree burns over his whole body, and we were given no therapy after witnessing his skin fall off his face. But I was the only one who sent them flowers and cards. And then we were told we have to do a sex scene without a minute to process. Holy shit. So yeah, you're right. We lost 2 stunt doubles. I got cut in the face. This is not her first injury, the neck injury. I got cut in the face to my eye and the stunt. I could have been so close to my eye and the stunt could have been blind. A woman was left quadriplegic. They tried to blame it on her being on her phone. So much so CW didn't help her to start with because they needed to investigate. She had to do a GoFundMe. She's a PA. They work via phone. So that's a PA, 2 stunt doubles, and then another male member of the crew, plus Ruby Rose, in multiple incidents for Ruby Rose. So that's at least 5 people injured multiple times in the case of Ruby Rose because of the cut in her eye. Her accident occurred because our show refused to shut down what everyone else did because of COVID. Now, I don't remember the timeline like I said yesterday, but I believe, because, I mean, shit, they've already gotten 2 seasons out in less than a year of this Batwoman, so I can't tell you. And, of course, because it's not on Instagram, it's COVID. Caroline Drives has no heart and wanted us to finish the season throughout the pandemic, and I told her it was a bad idea. Told everyone, I do remember this is probably filming at the very beginning of the coup. That's what it had to be, because Javicia Leslie obviously was hired as of late October, per old version of me. Let me see. And I'm sorry I'm reading you guys. I want to get through all of this. Wookie again. I will say this. I'm not necessarily covering this because I can't. I mean, I do care. I don't want people to get hurt. But the relevance is, this was, in my theory, all of these accidents, a lot of it seems to be caused by outright mismanagement, but I think a lot of these accidents were caused by diversity hiring. And so that's the takeaway to me. This is my theory, and I'm not trying to toss my opinion on top of somebody's hurt or somebody's tragedy. I'm just trying to say, like, listen, if something happened where there was a lack of safety on the set, my theory is that, that diversity hiring, or that the hiring people that weren't quite qualified for the job, cost a lot of these people their health, and some of these people's lives have been changed. So my thought is, you don't necessarily have to care about Ruby Rose, you don't have to care about this, but so Hurt pumps a purple piss for you. That's weird. I never heard that song, but I mean, you may think, oh, boo hoo, but I mean, this is pretty brutal, man. This is pretty brutal. She almost broke her neck, almost got blinded. People getting their faces burnt off. It's pretty brutal shit. But my point is just like, hey, this is the trickle down. This is what happens when people hire people who aren't qualified for their job. And that's going to be even worse now we're in the worker shortage. And that causes safety issues. So this is something that you, as a normal person, may have to deal with. Not the Ruby Rose, not the Hollywood shit, but the idea that you may be working with or alongside somebody who did not deserve to get that job. And it may indeed come down to you. And again, like I said, I don't think nobody necessarily she didn't attack the fans. You know what I mean? Ruby Rose didn't attack the fans, at least to my knowledge. She just did a shitty show. She just went and did a shitty show and almost got killed for it. So I do feel for her. Even a Wookiee, super cold-hearted. But hey, he's Wookiee, so what do you do? Let the Wookiee win. Let the Wookiee win. But I just want to reiterate that. And again, I do care about this person. I don't want to, just because as a human being, this seems pretty brutal. It is also, I know, just kind of on a tangent as a break between all this. It also exemplifies how, like, sometimes it ain't worth it. Conversely, if you're at a job and your safety, is as threatened as it is, I mean, certain jobs are just naturally unsafe. I get it, but acting isn't one of them. If you're in a job and your safety or your livelihood or your existence is being that threatened, you got to leave. You got to leave. When people are getting their face burned off, it's time to go. You know what I mean? It's time to go. But that draw Hollywood, people don't do it. So let's finish up some of her comments. Then we'll get into you guys' comments, and then we'll continue on. It's a little bit more with the story because Warner Brothers fired back. So I'll play some of that as well. So, Flash, Supergirl, Riverdale already shut down. I felt something bad would happen, and Caroline Drives visited set 4 or 5 times in a year, unheard of. But in those 4 or 5 visits, she decided she could tell me she knew my injury happened on set, so I should comply with the private investigator. Yet later denied it entirely and said it happened during yoga. I don't do yoga. Now someone will never walk again. We shut down the next day, not because she almost got killed. Not because she almost killed someone, but the government put it. Also, I fought people on set. Yes, not because I wanted to, but because I wanted safety. Ask anyone in hair and makeup what I did for them. After 2 were hospitalized, the only people that came and spoke out was Doug Ray. Talk about unprofessional. Called my agent after my exit to find a way to leave, and she replied, to which she replied, break your neck. Yet slammed me in the press. Oh, she did leave her agency, didn't she? I guess. Slammed me in the press. I never raised my voice on a set, never have. Doug Ray hurt a female stunt double. He yelled like a little bitch at women, and it was a nightmare. He left when he wanted and arrived when he wanted. He abused women. This is what happens when you have all those women. It leads more to get abused. And in turn, as a lead of the show, I sent the email asking for a no yelling policy. They declined. I was late one time because I was in the hospital. Whoever does these stupid leaks, I'm finding out who is Cameras. I don't know who Cameras is. Who, after I left the hospital, said, yeah, well, maybe if people were not late, we will make our days. An egomaniac kid who worked 1 a day a week had the audacity, or the stunt department. This is where I think the diversity hiring was happening. This stunt department has to be like disbanded and fired and rebuilt. They should never work in Hollywood again if this is what's going on. Unless, again, worker shortage means they have to. Or the stunt department, who were furious, even though I never blamed them. I went on falling and spoke of my injury and didn't play the game. Aside from them, I was loved and loved my crew. Oh, and they wouldn't let me drive to work. I couldn't legally drive after surgery, so they said get a taxi. Well, there's no budget. That's the last one. And then more pictures of her surgery. Looks like that's it. That's a lot. That is a lot. I feel for her. I know Wookiee's cold-hearted. I feel for her. I feel for all those people on the set. It's really sad that this show kept continuing on. I mean, the ratings were terrible. They were hurting people. There's no practical reason to continue this show. There's no practical reason to continue the show, to have recast it. If you had all this controversy and you had all this stuff going on, and like, why do you want to do the show? What made them want to do this show so bad that hurting all these motherfuckers and not being safe, that just made them want to recast? Once she left and they just recast it, even though there's no ratings, the show's not making that much money. It has to be a loss, right? There's no way this show's not a loss to Warner Brothers or CW. It just must be. So let's see what you guys are talking about, man. Let's see. Okay. It's a Wookiee being cold-hearted. It says, yeah, construction works, have another job. Getting any press at all. Well, press is one thing. I feel for people get hurt in construction accidents. People get hurt. Anyone getting severely hurt, I'm gonna feel for, man. What's a couple of crippled actors compared to diversity and inclusion utopia these brave warriors will bring? Brave warriors will bring us. Yeah. If again my theory is correct, where you had diversity hiring and people in that stunt department who probably shouldn't have been there. Yeah, it was the safety of these actors, of these stuntmen, of these assistants and crew members. I think there was more than just 5 or 6 people hurt. I think there's probably dozens, and they just kept getting smashed up by some set piece or some dumb shit, and they just kept it moving. I couldn't even finish watching the drinkers review of Squid Game, let alone the show itself. Oh no, but not the prettiest people, not them. Oh no. Yeah, we all have our crotches steam. That's totally normal. Yeah, that's weird that the producer. Again, I don't know if that's some new shit that I'm not up on. And yeah, creepy producer is a bit redundant, right? Right. And now we'll check out some pics of Ruby Rose with long hair. Damn. Robert fired a pic with her legs in it. What's going on with her legs? Oh my, says Robert, aka Cold Error. Hellfish Chozo. And actually, I need to talk to you, man. I gotta talk to you, but appreciate Fish Chozo being here. She's skinnier than a future FEMA camp resident. Jesus. That's a whole other can of worms. You know what? Maybe this is why Wookiee's so mad. Did Ruby Rose, does she have moments like that? Because I don't know. I mean, I remember when she was in John Wick, right? And then I know the Batwoman, but I don't know if Ruby Rose being one of those, maybe she is a hardcore feminist. I don't know that she is. So, but the chat or Wookiee, did Ruby Rose, does she have some comments saying a bunch of anti-men shit? If she does, because I mean, I don't remember it. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I didn't remember it. Because Wookiee says that she would gladly spit in your face just for being a man. I have a sympathy for that kind of person. Go figure. Go ahead, simp. Oh, I'm not simping for her. Come on, bro. Come on. But some guys like that. I mean, Jesus, it's brutal, man. People are getting fucked up at a brutal. I've never seen anything like this, man. And hey, brightest day. The other bags, man. It's Green Lantern inspired, but it looks more like, which was also Green Lantern inspired, Hurricane Helms. Looks closer to that. Either way, pretty cool mask. And let's see. And Spurred Coppers. Oh man. Ascension Dildo pushing back on Wookiee. Yeah, they did say that she quit. So the truth was she was fired. Smash or pass Ruby Rose? Probably smash. But again, it feels brutal talking about that. Like somebody potentially broke their neck, witnessed a bunch of crazy shit. It's like, oh yeah, I'd hit. It's like, yeah. So yeah, let's see where we're at. It's a pattern with Hollywood. Jackie Chan's multiple injuries across his career. The 2-3-week-old Momoa eye injury, Batwoman, multiple injuries. Makes you wonder what we don't know of. Yeah. What the fuck is happening in this set? I've never heard of this, but maybe this is common with these crew members just getting taken out and they just keep it moving. You remember the fucking Dark Knight? Somebody died on that set. Not just obviously Heath Ledger died right after it was filmed. There was a crew member who died on that set. So who knows what's going on in these sets? Especially related to bat people. What the fuck? Zach has way more respect for Ruby Rose now. I tend to. Yeah. I think that's a crazy situation. But I really want to know why this shit is still going. Why The Last Man got canceled? It got canceled. It was like, all right, the ratings are not good enough. The ratings for this show were never good. Maybe the first few episodes when Ruby Rose were on were solid enough. But it's been just a free fall since. And the ratings are way worse the second season, now third season. I do know that if you remember, they announced the third season almost immediately after starting the second season as like a hype job. But why is this shit still being made if it's hurting people and no one's watching? I have no idea. No idea. I guess, but you know what? A lot of times it's just, hey, we have a contract. We want to get as much money out of Warner Brothers for filming and doing shit as we possibly can. She mentioned some producers. They probably are just trying to get as much money as Warner Brothers as they're allowed to. The video of the lady cops in Canada completely failing to arrest the guy were pretty funny. I didn't see that. Aren't all women Black Widow? They are not. Everyone cares for famous, pretty people. Millionaires lead such a hard life. We should all be pouring out our hearts for them. Choice. I don't know, man. You see, I'm not. I try to err on never try not to criticize anybody in the chat. I'm not really criticizing, but it's just like, man, they're still human beings. No matter how much and those crew members were not millionaires, man. A lot of those crew members are probably making as much or less than we make in the chat. So I mean, like, so a guy got his face burned off, and he was not a millionaire, and we don't even know who he is. So you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's a pretty messed up story. I get this take in a lot of stories. This one is not this one is not quite that one. Yeah, that's a terrible agent. A lot of these agents though are just employees of the studio. A lot of these agents, or they're proxy employees where they want their job or they want their clout in the future too, so they don't really care as much about the clients as you think they would or should. Unless, not trying to disrespect this lady after all she went through. Ruby Rose is not really a star. She kind of was when she first came out. Like I said, I remember her and John Wick. She's not really a star. You know what I mean? Lay's trying to arrest the guy was good, much better than the Black Widow movie. Probably shouldn't give too much of a fuck about that guy too. Yeesh. They blew their budget in 3 or 4 episodes. That's why it's bad. The producer and writers, did they blow their budget in a few episodes? The show continued because all the people hate watching. Sorry about that. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that at all. It probably did. You're right, since you did though. But the ratings, even with the hate watching, was still pretty bad. And yeah, I do think representation is why these actors had to be injured. I think they have that's my theory. I don't know that though. I'm saying that's completely conjecture. That's just based upon how this studio has acted with this property. It was important for them to get lesbian leads, not just for Ruby Rose, but for Javicia Leslie, who had to come out as bi maybe a few weeks before she was casted. Who knows if that's a legitimate, but whatever. Everything was about representation. They had gay black Batwing or whatever also in the show. He's a part of the show. Everything was representation. And a lot of times that representation extends behind the camera. Like we saw with Why the Last Man. They just talked about it. The showrunner there, all this diverse talent behind the camera, women everywhere, and then a bunch of people get injured. So there has to be something wrong with that stunt coordination. There has to be. There's no way around that. And my theory is diversity. And maybe they're just shitty. Maybe they just hired a bunch of shitty people and they're all straight white men or whatever. That could be the case. But whatever happened to that fucking to that stunt coordinator crew, it's really fucked up. And yeah, the show's not making money. Nothing on CW makes money. No, it doesn't. Show's never been about making money. It's about pushing the agenda and pumping out propaganda. If people got hurt in that, making that crowd, I couldn't care less. As far as I know, she's just a lesbian. So yes, so nobody knows of any like angry man-hating BS. Nothing that I know of. She's not on social media. I don't have links to prove it. I don't want to find it. You don't have to prove it. I mean, I was just wondering because I didn't know if there was something. I don't know of anything. Ruby Rose doesn't seem like the person that had that vitriol looking. There are situations where I absolutely understand. It just doesn't seem to fit, man. Jackie Chan is insane. And yes, the stuntman died on Walking Dead set. So it does happen. Yeah, the first few episodes got good ratings. The crossover events were just about it for me. Oh, yeah, they did she was Batwoman when they did the Infinite Crisis garbage and they shit on Kevin Conroy. He finally plays Bruce Wayne live action. They make him evil, of course. Probably laundering money on that show. I think that's a lot of Hollywood is money laundering. A lot of Hollywood is money laundering. A lot of it. And hell, Jake D and chat. Hell, ladies, implement of joy. Yeah, I'm not simping. I feel bad on a human level. Yeah, this is brutal. This is not. Like I said, I understand that taking a lot of situations. People getting their face burned out and paralyzed over a shitty woke show. I'm a human being, man. That's too much. It's too much for me. Crews work 16-hour days for crappy pay. Only top people make real money. The crews don't make nothing. The crews don't make anything, which is why they're striking. One of the many reasons. This Ruby Rose thing is crazy and how it's blowing up. Yeah, the crew guys are hardworking blue collar folks. Exactly, Jake D. Seriously, people injured in the process of creating propaganda to push anything that's currently destroying our real life at a fundamental level doesn't get sympathy from me, but they're still people, man. They're still people. To play angel's advocate and be a little bit on your side, I don't want to just give you a hard time the whole time. I get being upset with people who are destroying your way of life. Just like the Superman American Way thing. That bothers me. And that even bothers somebody at DC. I don't know if I have time to cover it. I barely have time for these stories. But yeah, stuff like that when they're really going hard at the way of life, I get it. This was a little prop. This was a bunch of Tumblrettes made to troll a bunch of comics gators. This was not. It's not worth that. At least for me, I ain't gonna tell anybody else how to live. Right, libertarian, live and let live. But to me, it's not worth let's say that vitriol. I think episode 3 or season 3 opening episode got under 500K. Haven't watched Az's videos. Yeah, they are people. Yeah, but they're not the bricklayers who made built ovens at the car though. It's just actors on a shitty TV show. But hey, there's almost no one who would choose to risk its income and security over principle if being able to feed themselves is truly at risk. But I guess you know what? For the crew members, that may have been true. Where being just like Matt has said in Hollywood, you're happy just to work. So I can understand if crew members, they may feel that way. But Ruby Rose, probably should have left at the first sign of trouble. The fucking carpenter on the set has to do with social justice writers and propaganda pushers. I tend to think with that. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more. I feel like I've talked a bunch. But Warner Brothers has fired back and causes Ruby Rose's allegations of mistreatment on the set of Batwoman revisionist history. Listen, we know her injuries were real. Some of those other events have been documented. Others hadn't. The guy getting his face burnt off and some of the other stuff that happened to some of those crew members, I hadn't heard of until she tossed it out there. Warner Brothers has fired back at Ruby Rose over her recent allegations of mistreatment and unsafe work condition. Okay, John. Oh, I thought it was John Trent because he usually says the headline. The first sentence is a different version of the headline, but it was Spencer this time. Shout out to all the Bounty staff. I mean, I fucking use your site so much on this page, so I thank you guys. But after you read a lot of these articles, you start to notice certain things. Word of the CW's alleged workplace failings were first made public by Rose October 19th. It's yesterday. And let's get through it. She says, I didn't up and leave. She told Jimmy Fallon in October 2020. We were in such a weird position because we had to shut down before we could finish the season because of the coup. So yeah, at that time, talking to Jimmy Fallon, she denied the that her neck injury was a factor in the exit. She did know that definitely made going back to work quickly tricky. However, according to Rose's Instagram post, her exit was not the result. Okay, we're not going to reread the article that we just did. I'm trying to get through the what WB's response. So after they got published, Warner Brothers responded to the accusations on October 20th. That's today or yesterday. I'm so bad with days. Yesterday. So I got the wrong date. So this came out a couple days ago, and yesterday is when they responded. They asserted that the actress' words were a form of revisionist history, and she was actually let go due to multiple complaints about workplace behavior. I do remember hearing this at the time as well. Despite the revisionist history that Ruby Rose is now sharing, aimed at producers, cast, and crew. Well, it was that mainly producers, the network, and the studio. Truth is, Warner Brothers Television had decided not to exercise its option to engage Ruby for season 2. So they're admitting that they fired her, at least here, of Batwoman based upon multiple complaints about their workplace behavior that were extensively reviewed and handled out privately out with respect for all concerned. That seems creepy. I don't, doesn't really say much. They say it's revisionist history, but they're not really providing any evidence for their claims. And they're admitting that it was their decision not to keep her going. That's short. So that's what Warner Brothers has to say. Hey, I'm not somebody who's going to make decisions for how you guys feel. That's what I was trying to say with Wookie. Even though I disagree with him because I think he's being brutal to these people. But hey, you are allowed to feel how you want to feel about this. Warner Brothers says it's revisionist history. It's a lot of people hurt, man. There's a lot of bodies. I don't know. Something janky happened. They didn't really. That statement didn't say anything about what happened to the crew members. Screw Ruby Rose. What about what happened to the crew members? So wait, this says the crew member was paraplegic, not quadriplegic. Either way, any paralysis for this show is fucking ridiculous. So. Man, I've talked almost 40 minutes on the show. Let's see what you guys have to say. Batwoman season 3, episode 1, 45 or 458,000 viewers. And I dropped a lady cop vid into my DMs. That would be our meme of the day. That would be the meme of the day. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. And hell, Decepticon King. And hey, Dad, man. Appreciate you lurking and working. Lurking and working. Nothing wrong with lurking work. Let me actually grab that video, Zach. And again, thank you for it. I didn't even have a meme of the day set up, and you just tossed it to me. So we will play that right before we get into our positive news stories. Let's see. Or maybe I could play it now just for the it works with the theme, and I don't know that diversity hiring. I feel uncomfortable just because I don't want to be tossing my beliefs and my theory on things on what may have happened, because this is a pretty brutal situation. If you needed more reason to think Hollywood is evil, here you go, because it really sucks what happened to those crew members. What happened to her? What happened to the crew members? Everyone. And so yeah, we will show this meme of the day later, right before we get into our positive news story. But we have other news stories. It's not just Ruby Rose Day, even though we've covered most of the show. And I did see Razor Fist tweeted it. And I don't know, you're going back to work? No. But please watch the playback. Please check out the clips. I appreciate you being here to set the kind king. And gotta feed the Doge. Gotta feed Zeus. Since you dildo. All right. So I guess it's time to talk about women or people with vaginas. as they're medically called. White House, they call it the Texas bill protecting girls' sports, hateful bullying disguised as legislation. These anti-transgender bills are nothing more than bullying disguised as legislation, trying to undermine our nation's core values. That's what a spokesperson from the White House, let's go Brandon, that's what they said. So on Tuesday, the White House condemned a newly passed law in Texas that requires school sports to be separated by biological gender, and the law is hateful and bullying. You're bullying these transgender women by not letting them beat the shit out of natural born women. You bigot. What's wrong with you? Why don't you? Because now they got female wrestling teams. That's like a bigger thing now. Why don't you let the transgender women wrestle the regular natural born women or female signed born? Because they're all women. You bigots. You Texas bigots. You are denying their existence. Don't you know? Because you should be you should be open-minded enough and progressive enough to let your daughters get their confidence smashed in female athletics. You should stop being such a bigot and make sure that no female assigned at birth will ever win another athletic competition in school sports. All the however many thousands of women or millions of women there was it 300 million people plus. So what, 150, 100, because actually more women than men. 150 million women. You guys are being bigoted for wanting to be more valid than percentage? Maybe a million transgender. Maybe let's go 2 to 5 million transgender. You guys are being bigoted towards them. Stop your oppressive ways. All right, enough of my sarcasm. The law, which was signed by both the House and Senate on Monday, is expected to be signed by Governor Greg Abbott, who condemned the lawmakers for having to finally pass legislation to protect the integrity of Texas high school sports. And we do know high school sports are pretty big in Texas. White House blasted the bill, saying this is hateful. This hateful bill in Texas, just the latest example of those Republican state lawmakers. I'm sorry, I can't help it. The Republican state lawmakers using legislation to target transgender kids who the president believes they're some of the bravest Americans. And I don't want to get into that. I don't want to shit on them anymore. But in order to score, they're trying to score political points. They're trying to score political points by not having your daughter slammed on her head in wrestling, not having your daughter dunked on in basketball. They're trying to have political points. This administration will keep fighting for the full measure of equality, dignity, and respect for all LGBTQIA+. They didn't have the A. These bigots, where's the A? It's LGBTQIA+. White House do better. But we'll give them the respect all those Americans deserve. This diverse chap said, because I'm not going to try with that name. The White House will be engaging stakeholders in Texas and other states in the coming weeks to build a path toward true equality. Because we're not equal unless we can beat the shit out of your daughters in sports. That's the equality we need. And I always also wonder, because females who transition into men, they can use testosterone, right? I don't know. I'm not a medical expert. I know a little bit about steroids. Is it possible for a woman to steroid herself up to a young man's standard? I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Because these are teenagers. Is that possible? Anyone in the chat, let me know. A question about whether the Biden administration will challenge the law in Texas. A press secretary, I saw somebody calling it the bride of Chucky. Jen Psaki deferred the question to the Justice Department, but stated the president's view is transgender rights are human rights, rather adults or kids. But it's not. This is the fact that we this is what is it called? Gaslighting. It's such a gaslight. To to act as if there's no like there's a reason people want this. There are kids who can, there are girl athletes who can, they will never be able to beat transgender athletes. Why can't we have a transgender a transgender section of sports, of school sports? Maybe the reason is because the population isn't enough, which also begs the question, not that you just throw away somebody's thoughts and concerns just because they're a minority, but why are we even going through all this hoopla for this? Honestly, all jokes aside, a lot of this stuff is pushed out and beaten down your head for division's sake. That's the real answer. For the sake of divisiveness, for the sake of getting people to argue. Yesterday we showed the Dave Chappelle protest and the guy who went down there. But most of those protesters aren't themselves trans. They're just allies, and it's about somebody said something about political clout or a similar term. That's what it really is about. For a lot of people being on the right side of history, I just want logic. I don't think it's discriminatory to be logical. There's weight classes and things, right? Why do you, to say it's discriminatory to have women compete, or biological women, female assigned at birth, whatever term you want to use, to say it's discriminatory to have them compete with other females assigned at birth, other women. I'm trying, look at me. I'm trying to say all the terms. I'm trying to be all progressive and shit. But to have these people compete with each other, to say that that's discriminatory is similar to saying people who compete in weight classes, which again, I'm using the sport of wrestling. That sport has weight classes. There's a reason somebody who's 150 pounds in high school wrestling can't compete with somebody who's 200 pounds in high school wrestling, because there's a weight difference and there's a physical difference between the individuals, right? That's established based upon their weight. Well, it's also true to their gender. There's going to be a physical difference. We're not classifying these people in order to discriminate. We're classifying these people in order to keep people competing with similar, keep the playing field equal. That's what I'm trying to say. Keep the playing field equal. So if we're just trying to keep the playing field equal, it's the same reason they have even divisions in high school sports. The high-end prep school is not going to, I mean, sometimes they play them, the Bishop Sycamore situation, but a high-end prep school, especially Texas sports, the high-end prep school that's sending kids to the NCAA and the NFL, they're not going to play the bumfuck small, 100 student school in sports. They're going to play a similar high-end school as far as sports. You'll match them up as far as divisions in a state for school athletics, right? You don't just have everybody play everybody. One, it's not logistically possible, but two, and sometimes you do it by geography, but even within that geography, you'll usually class it up, at least where there's a higher grade of schools and lower grades of schools. So it's not, this is just classifying to keep the playing field equal. It's not discrimination. No one's doing this because we're looking to just look at transgenders and bully them and say, oh, you're not this. No one's doing that. We're just, that's what the gaslight is. The gaslight is, in order for you to just care about yourself, you're being a bigot. That's what they're trying to convince people. That's what they're trying to normalize. And they've done it to some extent. They've normalized, you're a bigot because you're interested in logic. It's like, no, I'm not interested in denying anyone's existence. I don't want my existence denied, All right. Sorry about my rant. I guess my rant is the whole show is a rant. So once the bill is signed into law, Cook potentially clashed with a statement given from the Department of Education in June, ruling that Title IX protects students from discrimination based upon sexual orientation and gender identity. Again, this is not discrimination. This is keeping the playing field safe, or keeping the playing field even. While advocating on the bill, advocates of the bill have assisted the transgender athletes by competing against girls, put female athletes at a disadvantage. LGBTQ advocates will likely challenge the bill. Is there a challenge to that statement? Is there a I haven't heard a LGBTQ activist who probably isn't LGBTQ, because we know how these allies are. I haven't heard someone refute the fact that a transgender male to female is going to have a huge advantage at sports. No one has refuted that. No one has said that. And then you guys want to complain when people don't watch the WNBA, when people don't watch women's sports, but you're killing it. You're literally destroying the ability for women's sports to exist. This is just a mess, man. This is just a mess. Earlier this year, the Human Rights Campaign filed a lawsuit against Florida, similar law, and they were filing similar lawsuits against Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Driftwood Representative Aaron Zweller, founding member of the Secretary of the House LGBTQ caucus, called the ban a mean-spirited attack on vulnerable children that turns them into casualties in the culture war. Well, your response is also causing this law is also a mean-spirited attack on vulnerable children, because all the women who want to compete in an even playing field, they can't because of your thoughts on the culture war. So, I mean, was it pot, meat, kettle on that statement? So there are no documented incidents in Texas of a transgender taking an athletic opportunity from a cisgender girl, but the damage done to the mental health of the transgender students is well documented. I've seen incidents all over the country. I don't know that there is or isn't in Texas, but I mean, I've seen incidents. I've seen that. That's not the case, at least countrywide. There are, however, examples in other states, such as Connecticut and Hawaii, where a biological male who identifies as transgender was recently named Sportswoman of the Year in New Zealand. Cece Telfer, who competes on women's teams and is a gender non-conforming biological male, has also taken spots away from women athletes. The trans sports ban is a harmful solution to a non-existent problem. All right. Even proponents of the bill cannot give real-life examples of the what? We just read a couple. What the fuck? It's the gaslight. This is what I mean. Wesley Story, communication director of Progress, Texas, says that Abbott is stigmatizing a group of kids for being different for a few far-right votes in Republican primaries. Of course, we're far-right for wanting our women not to get their head caved in. Maybe we should send this Wesley Story, who says there's no real-life examples, that one MMA fight. We should send, hey, is this a real-life example? Is this a real-life example? Who do you care more about? The woman that's getting her head beaved in, or the transgender man so he can feel good? Which one? You got to pick one. Pick one. Okay, I think that's it. That's it. I don't know what to say about this. This is, man, no one is trying to the black mask of white supremacy. Nobody is trying to, and I gotta say, I'm saying this as genuine as possible, man. As genuine as possible. The narrative is anything that is remotely anti-trans is just the worst thing on earth. And as I kind of pointed out a second ago, like a lot of things you're saying about what's happening to the transgender students is what this law has the potential to do, or the repeal of this law, because the law is obviously to keep it, I hate to use the term segregated, but that's what it is. It's segregated by gender. But you're if you get what you want, you'll be hurting all the cisgendered or potential pregnant people, because those are also terms for women. But no, you will be hurting all the young ladies who are trying to get into athletics, and there are examples. I'm not sure if there are examples in Texas, because they haven't had that, maybe they've kept it from happening. I don't know that. Maybe they've kept just informally kept it from happening. But there are examples of transgender women competing in MMA. They gave an example of a person in New Zealand won Sportswoman of the Year, who themselves is transgender. It's like, yeah, they do take, they will take spots away from cisgendered women, and I'm not trying to offend a transgender individual. I'm not looking to shit on LGBTQ people for bigotry purposes. No one's trying to do that. No, this is not why somebody wants school sports for biological women to play biological women and biological men to play against biological men. Nobody's doing that for to hate, to find transgender to hate. They only don't want young women to be in a extreme disadvantage. That's it. It's like, what are we talking about here? Like, how is this even a debate? How we're arguing with a gaslit argument. Like how like if you're a transgender athlete, if you're somebody who genuinely believes yourself to be a woman despite having being biologically male, why would you want to compete against people that you know you have a genetic advantage against? Well, then again, I mean, people do steroids, so I guess that's the answer to that argument. But wouldn't you at least like? I don't know, man. I'm trying to be logical. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to why you have to be called a bigot just for wanting something that seems to be common sense and basic logic. Why am I denying it? How is wanting to compete against like individuals? How is wanting an even playing field in competition? How is that bigotry? How is that bigotry? Please explain it. Like, what is your argument, and what do you have to say to the woman who loses a spot on a racing team or goes down a ranking on whatever cross country track, whatever it is that she's competing with individuals who were physically male. Like, what do you say to that student? You're an LGBTQ activist. You get what you want. Transgenders can do whatever they want. So what do you say then to the girls who do lose out those spots? Like, what is your answer to them? What's your response to them? And I doubt that there is one. I doubt that there is one. And Michael Hickson says, hell, it's not bigotry. Yep, the woman in MMA had her orbital bone broken by that man. He beat her unconscious. Like, I want an LGBTQ activist again, these allies who for the most part are straight white women. Let's just be honest. I want one of them to watch that fight and just say, okay, explain to me why not wanting that happen is bigotry. Break it down to me. I don't understand. I'm an ignorant part of the unwashed masses. Break this down to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Please. Please. Please, please, please. And you guys, somebody said weight classes are problematic because fat shaming. Let's see. Is sissies okay to say? I don't know. Well, sissies don't watch fights. If they watch Fallon Fox cave that girl's head in, they might feel differently. I'm not sure. Fallon Fox, that's the person's name. I'm praising men claiming to be women as an insult to biological women. They don't care about that. They don't care about calling women people with vaginas and all this other shit, pregnant people, all this other shit. They don't care. They have no interest in that. They don't care. They believe all. They don't really like women. That's why I say all these groups, they don't really like LGBTQ individuals. They don't like them. They don't care about them. They have no problem embarrassing them every time they can. They don't respect any group they're ally for. That's why you almost got to take them not at face value. They might cheer at it. Just shows that even feminists think men are better at everything, including being a woman. Oh boy. No, that's impossible. Government virtue signaling make us all look weak if we're invaded, game over. Got a conspiracy theory. That's the whole point. Dun dun dun. Got a nope. Roy to go. So yeah. So I guess the Roy thing. There's no science way. I didn't know if you could give a chick a super serum and have her out there knocking motherfuckers around. So apparently there's no way to Roy her into it. Fuck our soldiers dying in wars overseas. Have you ever tried wearing a lipstick and a dress? Now that's bravery branding probably. Yeah, the bravest individuals. How about SEAL Team 6? They seem pretty brave. Hell, Scott Jennings of the Dix Division. Hell, Dix Division. I'm an affiliate of Dix Division. I remember when the Dix Division was started. I was there. Just another red shirt. It's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt. And yeah, he's green. The thing, no matter how much a muscle mass woman can build up, her bone mass remain lighter than men. I'm thinking of somebody like China. She was huge. I'm like, somebody got like China, could they fuck some guys up? I don't know. I demand a manly, masculine military and government. Oh, that's bigotry. How dare you want to be protected and want safety and want leadership? Logic is whiteness. Oh no! How dare I be logical? Your logic is racist. Yeah, I guess I'm not progressive. I guess I'm not progressive since you dildo and Wookie. Sorry for not saying the names. I'm just reading the comments. I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible. If ever I listen, I am a loopy, super busy guy who's burnt out all the time. If ever I forget to say something to you in the chat, or I miss a comment, or I forget to say a name, blame my head, not my heart. It is not. I recently somebody said, they thought I didn't like them, and I felt so bad because I really do like them and really appreciate this person. Because they were like one of the helpful people in my starting this, and I was like, oh no, I didn't know that. But that's just me not paying attention. So if ever that's the case, blame my head, not my heart. I really apologize. And yeah, weight classes are problematic because fat shaming. Well, fat shaming is only for women. No one can fat shame my fat ass. I don't count. I'm not a person. Scott Jennings. There you go. Thinking for yourself again, using your deplorable white privilege all over the place. This is deplorable. Black mask of white supremacy. I know, right? Shocking. I'm literally shaking. Shameful. Not cool. Not very progressive. What's next, Vid? You get little boys playing with Barbie dolls? Listen, if that floats your boat and finds your lost remote, have at it. You sound like one of those freedom Yahtzees with your violent red hats and colonizer flag. Ah, colonizer spits on the floor. Whoa. And then we talked about Fallon Fox. Yep. Yeah, it's not supposed to be logical. The purpose is to destroy the system by any means necessary. But how did they get so many useful idiots? How did they get so many useful idiots to just deny logic? I understand, you had Jen Psaki, Chucky's bride. She was quoted in the article. She's just gonna push out the narrative or whatever. The people on that level, they just talk shit. The people that you see, they just talk shit. But the useful idiots, that there are individuals like you and me that think it is okay for a Fallon Fox situation to happen. Like, how does that happen? Why do you think that because I don't want a young woman to have her orbital bone fractured by a man, why do you think I'm a bigot? Like, as a logical, normal person, I guess they're not normal or logical, but you get what I'm trying to say. As a normie, how could you possibly think that? How? Maybe this needs to happen more. Sorry, ladies, you asked for this. Once it's everywhere, everyone will see it's wrong. Talk all you want, but once you actually see it, it's different. So Wookie is saying, am I gonna fuck it up? No, I didn't.
You get what you fucking deserve.
And I gotta agree with him on this one. Kind of pushed back at the other stuff earlier, but I gotta agree with him on this one, man. Women really did ask for this. They really did. They really did. Maybe they're right. Maybe I shouldn't care. Maybe I should. You know what? This is what you wanted. Got what you want. Enjoy. The activist will demand she drink more milk and get good scrub. Well, good. You know what? And they get what they deserve. I think activists will feel differently if they were fighting transsexuals in the ring. Yeah. Put one of these activists. That's a good one. Yeah, birthing people, chest feeders. Yeah, put one of those birthing people, one of those chest feeding activists, put them in a MMA situation with a transgender individual. It can be someone of equal experience. It doesn't have to be a person with experience. Give them, if they've never fought in MMA, they can never fight in MMA against a transgender woman. Have those activists fight, and they can see themselves how women and men are equal, or not. They claim to care. They claim they demand equality, which they changed to equity because they found ways to monetize them. Absolutely. And Michael Hickson, I am not aware of the luxury beliefs idea. Please enlighten us. But I mean, or these are luxury beliefs of champagne socialists, so to speak. But I'm not sure if there's like a specific definition outside of what I think it is. Because yeah, these are luxury beliefs. It's always the upper middle class who puts these swirly, loopy ass thoughts out there, and they sit there on their fucking high horses, and they decide what's right for the rest of us. Some goofy stink puss white bitch. So, and again, no discrimination against white girl, But some goofy stink puss white bitch at some goofy ass college decided that all of Latin America was now going to be called Latinx, and they're pushing it, no matter what somebody of that a national or well those many nationalities think. Doesn't matter. The goofy stink puss white bitch who works for a major university, she has spoken. That is gospel because she's more important and smarter than you. She's trying to help you dumb Latinxers because they'll call you a bigot. That's the argument. Exactly. That's the argument. SEAL Team 6 will now be SEAL Team Gay Sex. Oh my God. Pointing out the exceptions only proves the rule. Harry Potter chick got canceled for saying women have a different childhood than trans because science. You know what? She's a bigot. She's a bigot. We're in fourth, fifth generational warfare against the general public normies. Shout out to Wolverine Snicket. And I love because I'm not sure if he has that name because in the avatar he kind of looks like Wolverine with the beard and the cigar. But yeah, females have different bone structures and density. You can't teach that. Can't teach that. College is where they get these idiots. They train them and raise them this way. Jen Nutsack is former CNN. Is that where she's from? Because I had never heard of her before. You know, to this college thing, isn't that crazy that they, my generation and before, they push college on us. College, you need to go to college, get a good job. Go to college, get a good job. College. Whole high school is about how important academia is, right? And all they were doing was pushing us to be brainwashed, pushing us to a very expensive indoctrination camp. That's it. That's it. Yeah, emotions are way more powerful than logical thinking. They actually are in decision making. Your emotions are going to play a bigger role than your logic, despite what you may want. And that's why they've been able to succeed. That's why the authoritarians, the SJWs, the psychopathic leftists, they've been able to see by playing with people's emotions, be it fear, be it anger, be it sympathy, whatever. That's how they're able to succeed. Raggedy Ann has been around since Obama. She's deep in the swamp. She's not new. I had never heard of her. I'd never seen it because I don't pay attention to these people. I don't pay attention to the people. Truzax, take the clown pill. Got me wanting to take Molly after this. Hell, Morgan Holloway, tuning in from the factory. Just got back from my last break. Limited to audio like limited to audio like usual. There we go. Hey, appreciate you being here, Morgan Holloway. Shout out to the House of Holloway. Appreciate you guys. Sort Morgan or Morgan. I want to see a 100-pound woman try to play in the NFL, get slammed by a 300-pound linebacker. Yeah, let's do it the other way too. Let's get a 100-pound transgender man. Let's get Elliot Page and put him in the NFL. Morgan Holloway loves the title of the stream because roses are my favorite. It was a reference to Ruby Rose, the shit that she went through, or Batwoman, which we spent the majority of the first half of the podcast talking about. Luxury beliefs are the latest status symbol for rich Americans. Oh, see, there's a thing on it. See, you guys are smarting me up to this. Luxury beliefs are all these ideas that people say and express that they don't live by. The main example is the Ivy League girl talking about being a feminist. Okay. Women don't actually want real equality anyway. There's no way any of them want to give up the ability to talk shit and not get fed their own teeth. Tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead. Oh no, I agree with that. Hell, shout out to Isn't It Girl. She's not here. She only shows up when Matt shows up. See how it is. No. But she was in the chat yesterday talking about how much she wanted to make sandwiches. We were talking about I think it was you, Wookie, talking about repeal the 19th. She said, listen, if I could just get married and make sandwiches and not have to pay taxes, I'd be happy. So no two things on earth are equivalent, man. Equality is a false premise too. You want equal opportunity, but there's not going to be equal outcome, nor should there be. Like you can't, no two things are going to be equal. If I'm 6'1" and another person's 5'11", we're not equal. I'm taller. You know what I mean? everybody's gonna have advantages and disadvantages they're born with. And the equality thing got tossed out when you had a lot of racial inequality, a lot of legal racial inequality, in which you said legally black people or people of different races were less. And that's how it started um early 1900s early 19th century on to the mid 19th century, really back, post reconstruction into the mid 19th century. You have that. You have this. You're unequal. You can't go to the same schools. You can't go to the same buildings. You can't do the same thing because of your race. And that's where we want equality, and that's where pushing. You should want the ability to do anything in the country that anyone else can, and you get that. And then that concept that gets taken, too far, where equality now means exact copy of an idealized version of the life. The fact that and I'm this is a real tangent, but the fact that so much of the quote unquote black experience is viewed through a poverty lens, and there's like a complete ignoring of the impoverished people, particularly white people. I think there's more poor white people than there are black people in general. A lot of poor white people. Poor. Sorry, guys, I'm just fucking up the English language as I try to talk. I got so many thoughts. I'm just trying to get them out. But there are a lot of poor white people, and they never talk about them ever. Like they're not even included as a part of the. They're never looking for equality for them. They're never looking for equity for them. They just got to just deal with it. You know what I mean? And where am I going with this? Kind of lost my train of thought after I start fucking up. I guess my point is there's no way to ever create equality. It's an impossibility. A lot of the reasons that there are inequalities are in fact interference. Why is there such an inequality between white and black people in this country? A lot of it has to do with government interference. Why in 1959 did black, or I don't know if it's 59, I know it's some point in the 50s. Why in the 50s did black people have a higher rate of staying together, lower rate divorce, lower rate of kids out of wedlock, and now it's so astronomically high? What happened? That was in the most racist time. But still the black family was able to stay together. What happened? Well, you had government interference in the name of equality. And we got to make things equal, so we made things worse. And now I'm back to where I was going in this rant. So equality as a thing. Sorry if that rant never made sense. But equality is not possible, and it's not what you should want anyway. You should want balance. You should want things to be on a level playing field. You should want but you can't have this pure equality. And equity is even worse. Now it's like, well, you just deserving a stake of something. You deserve a stake in something just for showing up. It's like we're in a dangerous time because of a lot of this craziness, man. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. And I'm sorry for this rant, man. I don't think it made as much sense as I wanted it to make. But I just don't think this call these nappy white girls whatever you want. I'll easily call them. I didn't call them nappy. I didn't call them stink puss. He gets married to a rich man, has his babies, live in a big mansion, talking about activism on Twitter. Yeah, there's a lot of that. This is Michael Hickson brings this up. He says luxury ideas are the ideas people say and express that they don't live by. Main example is Ivy League girl talks about being a feminist, gets married to a rich man, has his babies, lives in a big mansion, and talks about activism on Twitter. And I've talked about how so many of these Twitter activists, all these a lot of these race baiters tend to date white people. Even remember Lori Lightfoot, she has a white girlfriend, a Chicago mayor. ALC as a white dating a white man, and of course Meghan Markle fucking dated at the time the Prince of England. How white do you get? And, so these race baiters always love them. Strong white man, straight white man they can find. Almost every piece of media supports the clown world agenda. It's all they hear. Can you smell the smoke? Right. So your mask does absolutely nothing. There you go. Look up Thorsten's Fabian theory of the leisure class, huh? I know I haven't ever heard of Thurston Fabian, and I probably mispronounced his name, but I know Soul has a book about intellectuals and race and intellect. What's it called? It's another one about the ruling class and their thought on society and their thoughts of being the savior. I forgot what it's called. I know it's intellectuals and race, intellectuals and society, and there's something else about the ruling class, basically the leisure class. They're smarter than us, and they must save us. 100 Mike, exactly right, Zax. Oh yeah, as far as the math. I went to a technical college. None of this indoctrination existed there. Yeah, technical colleges, and technical colleges and trade schools are the way to go. And hell, the Wake Down. Shout out to the Wake Down producer. I guess I consider him a producer of the show. And the reason you see so many clips, if you're able to see clips, this is how sad. Imagine that they got millions and millions and millions of people to go in debt for their indoctrination. Imagine you shape society to think that they have to go in debt for indoctrination. They've shaped society so much. I talked about a few weeks ago. There's a video talking about how there's going to be a dating crisis because not enough men are in college, and we're creating a generation of broke men who can't go to college. Yes, there's a wage gap, so maybe college doesn't equate with wages as well as you thought it did. So yeah, imagine going into debt to pay for your indoctrination, and just think they've had society on this gimmick for decades and generations. Go into debt, pay for your indoctrination, maybe get a job. I don't know if a 300-pound live man can catch an LFL running back. You know what? There are other reasons they probably couldn't catch an LFL running back, especially if that's the lingerie and not Legends Football League, which I wish would have gotten bigger because they were some nice asses in that league. It was actually interesting. It was actually an interesting league, and so I can see if a girl's built well. I don't know if it may be a little bit harder to catch her. You catch my drift. If he did, she'd be a puddle. But those girls are quick and they are thick as well. Open draft up to the women. They almost did. Aren't they talking about this? Start a war. Watch how many of these weirdos end up pregnant. Yeah, they will. Yes, that's exactly what will happen. And think about it. If you draft women, you don't necessarily have to draft them to combat roles. There's still a lot of roles in the military that a woman could, conceivably be useful in. Tons of roles in the military. It's a lot of the military is this whole operation. So a draft for women still would be, valuable to a military operation. Just for all the administrative stuff, having more women to do that. Don't forget, only 10% of women consider themselves feminists. Well, they gotta speak the fuck up because they've let those 10% speak for them. Feminists have become the narrative, the voice of women. Wake down's poor white people. Oh man. Sup poor Wake down. I don't call him poor Wake down. But Vig, what if he identifies as a tall bigot? I don't know the context of that because I've said so much random stuff. Threatening and warned to play it. Watch that number drop to 0. Hell Basco Scenario, he's dropping in during this break, giving me support. Hell in the chat as well. Appreciate you being here. You probably already left because I'm so behind in the chat. And I'm actually going to skip a few of the articles. We're just going to get into our meme of the day after I'm done talking to you guys. Meme of the day and positive story. Don't you know that homeless white man is more privileged than Obama? Yeah. Duh. More privileged than LeBron James, white supremacist. Normal women have been saying all men are pigs for how long? Yeah, most women aren't feminists. LL, try all of them if they admit it or not. Yeah, that's the thing. Most women have kept some feminism in their life. They are in their ether, basically. Most women have some element of feminism to them now. They just do. And it's hard to walk that back. Seems like pressure made. It seems pressure made for better family life. They had competition and something to build on, something to prove. Yeah, it did. Don't blame them for their nature, no. Like a lot of things, like I said, a lot of it's interference. The state interferes with something and it fucks up a natural process. That's what's happened. That's what's happened to this country. People think They see the inequality and they say, "Oh, it's capitalism's fault." No, no, no. The biggest issue in this country is the socialism that's already been there. 50, 70, 80, 100 years back. That caused as many issues as anything else. It wasn't the capitalism, it was the socialism. Trust me. Being homeless is more privileged than living in a $4.5 million mansion on Martha's Vineyard. Yes, if he's Caucasian, bigot. Even the poorest and more disabled white person has it better than LeBron. Just ask him. Duh. LeBron James is being hunted by police in his gated community. Duh. Duh. You bigots. Intelligentsia. You know who else also went to a technical college? Karl Malone. Oh boy. This piece of shit. Karl Malone. He's a shitty dude. Look up what happened to him and his I don't know if it was his first, but one of his younger baby mamas. And I do mean young. He was young, but she was way younger, and it's really shitty. Karl Malone's a really shitty human being. There's no way around it. Okay, I don't know. LeBron cries himself to see if he's still terrified of police, especially his bodyguards. Yeah, he's used police bodyguards many a time. Well, the thing is, Nike told him to be terrified of police. They had T-shirts to sell. They had, group economics T-shirts to sell. So he was supposed to be scared about police. When I got my associates to look for work in my city, every job listed wanted 320K worth of degrees that will push me into my 50s with no retirement. Another reason that jobs have been shitty the past few years, who writes these job listings, right? And I saw this trying to get a technical job in the tech industry. It was all these I love white women. I love women of all races. I don't want this podcast to be like, man, all he does is bash white women. That just happens to be the demographic who pushes all this stuff. I mean, I guess there were a few black girls too, but it was mostly the young, as far as the human resources or the recruiters, that these young women who don't know shit about the industry, like in this case tech, don't know shit about the industry that they're recruiting for, they're in human resources for, and they write this laundry list of pie in the sky impossibility. There were people who wanted, I'll never forget, there was a job listing. If you guys remember Vue.js, anyone who's ever done programming, at the time it was only a couple years old, and they wanted someone with 5 years experience in Vue.js. It's like, well, that doesn't exist. It's not possible. It wasn't React. One of those JavaScript libraries that people used a lot of, maybe still do. But they wanted more experience than was possible for the technology because it hadn't existed that long. But this girl in her 20s who writes a fucking job listing like she's fucking writing her dream list for her, the rando that she wants on Tinder. You know what I mean? It actually saw one of my recruiters on Tinder, by the way. They did not swipe back. But yeah, this girl who's been on Earth 20 years tops, 25 tops, just got out of college. She writes a job listing that's impossible. And then, why can't we fill this job? Do it. You have the right. Say hi to Ash and even Erwin if you want. Not sure the context. But shout out to Ash. And shout out to a lot of the people I haven't talked to in a while. Men are turning away from college because they're feminist, Marxist indoctrination centers for Me Too sideshow freaks. That's why. Yeah, that and trade school. And that man has to head out. I'm gonna have to head out in a second. Appreciate everybody in the chat. We hadn't got that much of a turnout recently, so you guys in the chat are going awesome, going off. I may have to skip some of it just to get through it and get out of here. For me, my degree. Okay, you guys talking to each other. I can attest firsthand about the PCBS in my classes. MSU. Oh yeah, it's right. You're at MSU. I like those 3 years and discarded the 15K of debt it left me in. Yeah. Michigan State, right? Because I feel like we went through this too. What's up, dildo? Nah, it's fine. It's poor. I'm poor too. Oh man, I'm the voice of the poor white people. I didn't know that. Maybe I am the face of white supremacy. You guys are right. Does the military employ fluffers? Oh boy, I'm talking about administrative stuff. Could use women for that. Still need that stuff done. Just another red shirt's getting out of here. I didn't see that. Oh no, he's just saying Dad Man Walking's getting out of here. Okay, guys, talking about the degree. Crony capitalism did as much damage. It did. But I mean, a lot of this was just it was crony capitalism did damage. But I mean, a lot of the ability, crony capitalism does a lot of damage. I cannot lie because we've talked about the FDA and Merck and all these other companies, that relationship a lot of these major companies can have with the government and being the government themselves in a lot of cases. So that absolutely did. But I think the ability for more people to be able to progress to a certain financial level, I definitely think the socialism and that was already a part of the American experience, basically since the Fed was established. And I haven't talked about the inflation stuff on the show yet because they're talking about inflation's good. Shit, they're able to sell to people. But like crony capitalism definitely did damage, but I really feel like more people were affected by the socialism. Or the state's involvement, the state's interference. Once the state interferes with something, it screws it up almost unerringly. Not to say that you can't have the state's a necessary evil. You do need them for certain things. But they want to unerringly screw things up. Oh, the Boston Celtics got their games banned in China because somebody said free Tibet, kill LeBron James, CCP Shield, and the NBA officers fire that player. I didn't see that. I did not see that. Wow. NBA is just a mess. Any man contemplating marriage should read the parable of the toad. And is that the hare? I can't tell the emoji. I wouldn't marry in this generation. There's no point to marry in this generation. It ain't just the chicks writing the job application. It's the credentials and regulations for certain jobs. You got to get in the debt to get the job that'll teach you your job. Yeah. But that's what I mean. It's like you have to lower some of these. You're right. It isn't. It's just that, hey, these are credentialed jobs, but some of these jobs are overly credentialed. It's like you're preventing people from even being able to get them, and you're cutting out your own nose to spite your face. The catch of the job was call center work requirement. What? Who wants to work at a call center? Buy Fish Chozo, and if I gotta get a chance, I gotta talk to you. I gotta holler at you about something. But hell, Fish Chozo, check out Goofanoid if you haven't. Please check it out. Get past the HR gatekeepers and have a chat with technical managers, developers directly. Not only will you save time, you'll get a better idea of the environment and team. Yeah, I tried that a couple times. Yeah, Morgan did go to Michigan State. Shout out to MSU. Shout out to Michigan. Yeah, I tried that. I talked to. I tried everything to get a technical job. It just wasn't to be. Wasn't to be. You got some China clap. Lost on that. Frog and Scorpion. That was the other one. Frog and Scorpion. Tell the Frog and Scorpion. Oh, I have heard that the Scorpion, the Frog is trying to get across the water, and the Scorpion's trying to get across the pond. Asks the Frog. The Frog says, "Yeah, but don't sting me, because if you do, we'll both die." And halfway through, the Scorpion stings the Frog, and the Frog says, "Why? We're both about to die." And he says, "Because I'm a Scorpion. Scorpion can't do shit to me, because since a dildo is indeed a dildo." So there you go. Okay, guys, we like most part, we're kind of rushing out of here. I had to cut a few stories, but I'm not cutting the meme of the day. You guys told me about this. I have not seen this. We've been talking a lot about equality this episode. Talking about women and women, and you guys are in your bigotry, and women can do things men can do. You bigots who don't want transgender athletes just because of your bigotry, look at what women can do just as good as men. Look at women. Look at these strong women and this average male. These strong women. And my strong Canadian women. I'm going to break this guy's arm. Oh, she swung at him. Look at her trying to kick him. And he's gone. Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Oh.
En français. Representation.
Oh, monsieur est gone. Oh.
Representation. Oui, s'il vous plaît. Oh, she's about to hit.
Get him
She got the cuffs.
Get him in that.
Oui, s'il vous plaît,
Attends, attends,
representation in Montreal. Representation in Montreal. Oui, s'il vous plaît. Oui, s'il vous plaît. Oh, wow. Yellow Flash just put out a video that the cast and crew are calling Ruby Rose a liar and BS. Whoa. I did show parts of it. I did show parts of it Warner Brothers pushback, but I did not see that. Yeah, this basically been this whole episode. And Kaya Manifesto was a fox and a frog, or hair, frog head right on top of the scorpion. No, it's the other way around. I'm sorry, scorpion on top of a frog. I'm sorry, I don't know what I said. Okay, you guys talking about some great episode. I hope so. Contract work W2 can be a good step towards direct hire at a good company. Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. But I couldn't even get that. I'm okay where I'm at now. Well, I'm in work in progress. Let's see. Yeah, he does run Michael Hickson. That's a free Willie. Oh well, Koof Cop. This is so good. Let's see, problem because she called him out on not sending that one guy flowers in the hospital. The crew went along with it. They're probably doing what their bosses told them to do. I have a tendency to think because there are some injuries that were like documented. There was some documented injuries, so she cannot be lying about everything. And drop the link to this video. Here, I'll toss the link in here. You guys want to enjoy it on your own? Yeah, the scorpion can't really ride on a frog. I think that's just an allegory. And Morgan Holloway saw this clip on Twitter. I just posted the link. So yeah, there's been a lot of injuries. She can't be lying about everything. All right, time for the positive news story because I got to get out of here. All right, let's get it on the screen so you guys can see it. You saw the meme of the day. You saw what Whammy can do. Let's show what these toxic masculinity, these toxic men. A body cam video shows a deputy save a child who was hiding under a blanket during a house fire. Florida deputy ran to a burning house to rescue a 3-year-old boy who was hiding from the fire and smoke underneath the blanket. Oh, man. On October 17th, the Flagler County Sheriff Office responded to a residence in Palm Coast about a house fire. K-9 Deputy First Class Marcus Dawson arrived at the scene. Dawson met with a neighbor who was advised the fire started in the kitchen. And he had not seen the 3 occupants that day. Upon checking the exterior of the residence, Dawson observed a fire that the stove was spreading the cabinets. There was a thick black smoke filling the residence, dark blocking in the sliding glass of the door near the rear bedroom. Dawson made verbal commands into the residence and didn't receive any response. He was walking to the front of the residence and he observed a bedroom light on and made more announcements through the front door. After not receiving any response, he walked around the back of the house and entered the patio through the unlocked screen door. Observed movement in the bed in the master bedroom. As he got close, he observed a toddler under the blankets hiding from the smoke. He immediately entered the residence to rescue the child and carried him out of the home. The toddler received medical attention. It was cleared on the scene. Where's the fucking family? Maybe this will tell you more. Without DFC Dawson running towards immediate danger, even without a safety respirator, this could have been a much difficult outcome. Yeah, he was a police officer. He's not a firefighter. So that smoke can cause damage. Even still, this child was hiding in fear of the fire and smoke, watching a cartoon on his phone when thankfully 3-year-olds, should they have phones? That's neither here nor there. DFC Dawson's training and emergency response allowed him to find his child, safety rescue him. It's a dangerous situation. We're proud of Dawson's bravery and commitment to serving his community and saving life. I am too. All 3 of the residents, they were home safe with no injuries, and it was turned over to the Palm Coast Fire Department. It was an accident. It was believed to be an accidental, potentially cooking-related fire. I don't know what was going on with the other individuals in this home. Thank God for the police officer being able to save this kid. I don't know what was going on in that house. But I know what's going on now. This is the end of the show. This has been a really interesting episode. I want to thank everybody. Oh, that's way too loud. Let's bring that down a little bit. All right. Gotta talk over it. Well, thank everybody for being here. Kai MFS was lurking into the Scorpion story, which I may have botched. I believe that was the case. Low Spec Linux Laptop was also lurking, so I appreciate that. Small Scorpions the most venomous. They can actually definitely ride a frog, says Cinch and Dildo. All right, I can't read everyone's comments, but I will thank Cinch and Dildo, Kai MFS, Low Spec Linux laptop. The Wait Down. Yeah, please check out Space Crime Domino. It's Kai's book. It's now a year old. God, time flies. Just Another Red Shirt. It's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt. Pope Chewbacca Cabras, aka Wookiee Supremacy. Pretty brutal in this episode. We still love him. Forbidden Ruin. Appreciate you here. Morgan Holloway. Appreciate you here. Trinoculus P. I didn't even notice you showed up. Sorry. Appreciate you being here though, man. I love Trinoculus P. Michael Hickson. Appreciate you. Let's see who else was here. A lot of other people were here. I feel like I'm forgetting people. Fizz Chozo, appreciate you being here. Dad Man walking, appreciate you being here. Basco Scenario showed up for a little bit if I can find him, and I can't. Let me see. I think that's it. I really do. And if I miss somebody, please blame my head, not my heart. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do so. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for your watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. I have videos coming up every few hours. Keep checking the channel back for new videos. I'll do another show tomorrow. Next week, hopefully we'll have this stuff on Spotify. So thank you for everything. Thank you for all your support. I will see all you guys later. Peace.
Some motherfuckers are always